In the endless cycle of life, we face the consequences of our own actions. If we do not know how to stop and think, bad karma will drag us down forever. Today, I would like to share with you 10 important things that Buddha taught us to avoid bad karma, create a peaceful life, and know how to love. The story begins with things that perhaps everyone has heard, but deep inside those lessons always echo. Buddha taught that those who kill and harm animals will suffer endless pain and sorrow. The story is about a hunter who lived his whole life killing. When he died, he was punished in the form of the animals he had killed. Through that, Buddha advised that we need to see the pain of living beings, know how to open our hearts to compassion, and stay away from harming lives. Once, I saw a small bird caught in a net. Its frightened eyes made me think about my responsibility to living beings. That was when I understood that compassion must be present in every small action of life. A compassionate person is someone who brings peace to all beings, the Buddha emphasized. When we open our hearts to compassion, we not only save others, but also save ourselves. The story goes that a rich man often released animals and helped the poor. When he passed away, he enjoyed good results. His children and grandchildren were protected, and his life was peaceful. Compassion is not only saving small animals, but also saving our own hearts from hatred and selfishness. Every action brings results. Those who live honestly will receive peace. Stories of rich people helping others, or people who give up killing to accumulate virtue, clearly show us that cause and effect do not spare anyone. Sometimes I wonder, can true peace come from external things? Or does it come from the way we live and behave with everything around us? The Buddha once told a story about children playing by torturing crabs. He stopped and asked them if they would be hurt if someone else did the same thing to them. The Buddha's words awakened the children. This is a lesson for us that compassion needs to start from small things. The Buddha taught that not only killing, but also harmful occupations, such as slaughtering and hunting, also create heavy karma. Living responsibly and honestly is an important part of the spiritual path. We should seek useful jobs that bring benefits to society, instead of causing more pain. I once met a friend who switched from butchering to selling vegetarian food. He said that each day he felt lighter, and his life changed from there. Buddha advised people to be vegetarian to reduce the karma of killing. Being vegetarian is not only about giving up meat, but also a way to cultivate compassion and love for all living beings. When you give up meat and fish, you are sowing the seeds of goodness. The story of bodhisattvas, even in the midst of hunger and poverty, still kept the precept of not killing, which is a testament to the strength of compassion. Being vegetarian is not easy for many people, but giving up meat step by step is a step to cultivate empathy and love for all living beings around us. Buddha taught that each person needs to contemplate the suffering of all living beings and help when possible. From saving ants from the water to helping the poor, all are sowing good karma for the future. Small actions today can bring great results. We cannot change the past, but we can build the future by what we do today. The Buddha has shown the way. Let's listen and practice with sincerity. Abandon evil, do good, love all beings. That is how we not only liberate ourselves, but also bring light to life. Many people in Buddhist scriptures have committed the karma of killing or doing evil deeds, and they have faced unforeseeable consequences. The image of helpless souls, without a place to rely on, being tortured in the hell realms is a strong warning for us. Imagine a successful businessman, but to achieve his goals, he does not hesitate to crush his opponents. He lives in luxury for years, but at the end of his life he suffers from illness and loneliness. At that time, the evil karma has returned like a haunting shadow. If you want to avoid suffering, sow good seeds from today. Do not let momentary actions drag us into the endless cycle of karma. A classic story told in Buddhist scriptures is about a monk who devoted his life to releasing small creatures. Day after day, he used the money he earned to save animals that were about to be killed. At the end of his life, he passed away peacefully, surrounded by the gratitude of the villagers. That person's compassion is like a spreading fire, making everyone around him ponder. Can we live without hurting anyone or anything? Practicing compassion every day, sowing good seeds every day is the way to escape suffering. The Buddha once taught that, to resolve hatred, people need to open their hearts to compassion. Holding on to resentment is no different than hugging a red coal, burning yourself. Once, a man was harmed by someone else. He held on to hatred for many years. His health gradually deteriorated. When he decided to forgive, he felt relieved, and his life gradually improved. I used to hold on to anger towards the person who hurt me. But then I realized that only made my heart heavier. When I let go, I felt my heart lighten. Compassion is the power to heal all wounds. Every day is an opportunity to let go of hatred and give love. That is the shortest path to peace. Being vegetarian is not just about giving up meat and fish, but also a way to keep the mind pure and cultivate compassion. Many people who have switched to vegetarianism have noticed a clear difference in their souls and health. Vegetarianism helps reduce the karma of killing, calms the soul, and creates more blessings. I once met an old friend who, since becoming a vegetarian, clearly felt his compassion grow stronger. He no longer wanted to hurt anyone, not even to step on insects. Food is medicine or poison for the mind. It depends on how we choose. Being vegetarian is sowing good seeds for ourselves and for future generations. When you eat vegetarian with compassion, you are sowing good karma and creating a more peaceful world. In ancient times, there was a farmer who often saved small creatures. He did not think about the blessings, he only did it with his heart. When drought came, the crops failed. His house was the only place that was not severely affected. The neighbors realized that thanks to his compassionate heart, he was protected by the gods. We often think that small actions do not bring big results, but the truth is, every good action can create a miraculous result. Releasing animals is not only saving a living being, but also saving our hearts. Life cannot be bought or sold, but compassion can change our fate. A busy life makes it easy for us to forget compassion, but just a small action, helping the needy, protecting the weak, can increase good karma. Practicing compassion is not difficult, just doing the smallest things in life. Personal perspective. Imagine how beautiful this world would be if each person just added a little compassion, a little love. It doesn't have to be big things, just gestures, sympathetic eyes. When we understand karma, compassion, and cause and effect, we will constantly seek ways to live better, to love more. That is the only way to escape suffering. The Buddha taught us that only compassion can save everyone, including ourselves. Live to love, to create a bright future. The Buddha encouraged us to practice loving-kindness meditation, to cultivate a kind heart, to feel the suffering of living beings, and to transform suffering into happiness. When you practice loving-kindness meditation, you will not only feel peace in your heart, but also spread positive energy to the surroundings. There was a young teacher who meditated and practiced loving-kindness meditation every day. He always tried to help his students overcome difficulties. Gradually, the students became more confident and studied harder. This is a clear proof that loving-kindness can reach anyone, helping them change from within. In the hustle and bustle of life, there are times when I also feel tired and angry. But when I practiced compassion meditation, I realized that forgiveness and love are the way to purify my soul and calm my disturbances. Not only killing, but also many other actions lead to bad karma. In the professions that create karma, such as arms trading, slaughtering, or businesses that destroy the environment, are all condemned in Buddhist scriptures. These professions not only cause direct harm, but also have great consequences for society. There was a man who used to trade in arms for a living. After a terrible incident, he realized that what he did only brought suffering and hatred. Deciding to give up, he spent his time helping victims of war and gradually transformed his karma. We cannot change the world completely, but we can choose to live with responsibility and compassion, staying away from things that harm others. A classic story tells of a monk who saw a colony of ants about to be swept away by the water. Not afraid of difficulties, he tried every way to save the ants from danger. Thanks to his compassion, he not only saved the ants, but also created great good karma, helping him to free himself from obstacles in his practice. I once met a child who had lost his mother in a crowded crowd. The fear in the child's eyes made me unable to be indifferent. Leading the child to find his mother is not a big thing, but it is something that any of us can do. A small gesture that warms the heart and brings hope. Compassion can turn small things into great things. When we open our hearts, life becomes more meaningful. In many scriptures, the Buddha emphasized vegetarianism to cultivate compassion and avoid killing. Vegetarianism not only helps us reduce karma, but also cultivates compassion through each daily meal. Moreover, this also contributes to protecting the environment and reducing the climate crisis. When I decided to become a vegetarian, it was not easy at first, but then I realized that each meal is an opportunity for me to sow the seeds of goodness for myself and the world around me. When I gave up meat and fish, my heart became lighter, my health improved, and most importantly, I felt like I was living up to the values I believe in. Vegetarianism is a way for us to respect life, not only for ourselves, but also for all living beings. The law of cause and effect is one of the core teachings of Buddhism. No action is without consequences. Good actions will bring good results, while bad actions will lead to suffering. When we understand and live according to cause and effect, life will change for the better. A woman, after experiencing painful losses, sought to practice Buddhism. She diligently did good deeds and helped people in need. Gradually, good things came to her, and life became lighter and more meaningful. Each of us is a part of the flow of cause and effect. What we do today will become the foundation for tomorrow. Let's sow good seeds, and the world around us will change. The Buddha gave us lessons not only to listen to, but also to practice. Practice compassion in every small action, reflect on cause and effect in every thought, and know that everything we do makes an impact. Let's work together to create a better world, starting with ourselves. Compassion not only helps to resolve hatred, but also helps us live happier and more peaceful lives. The Buddha once taught that when we have compassion, we not only bring joy to others, but also peace to ourselves. People who live with compassion will always be loved by others, protected by angels, and their minds will always be at peace. In a small community, there was an old woman who lived alone and in poverty. Instead of avoiding her, the neighbors around her often visited her, brought food, and shared small joys. Gradually, she became happy, her health improved, and love filled the community. This is clear evidence that compassion has miraculous power. I remember one time when I helped a stranger who had an accident on the road. I received a grateful smile and sincere thanks. That made me realize that every act of compassion can bring joy not only to others, but also to myself. Releasing life is not simply saving a living being, but also a way for us to save ourselves from the karma of killing, to cultivate compassion and create more blessings. When we save a living being, we sow a seed of compassion for ourselves and for the world around us. A fisherman often fished, but after listening to the teachings of a Zen master, he decided to give up his job and use the money he earned to release fish back into the river. Although life was difficult at first, he gradually realized that his heart was peaceful, his children were obedient, and his family was happy. That was the blessing from compassion. Releasing life not only frees living beings, but also frees us from the bondage of evil karma and hatred. Keeping precepts is a way to stay away from evil karma and protect a pure mind. The 5 precepts: no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no drinking alcohol, are the moral foundation of life. When we keep the precepts, our minds will be pure, our lives will be peaceful, and we will avoid much suffering. A man often killed to earn a living. After realizing the consequences of karma, he decided to become a vegetarian and keep the precept of not killing. His life changed from then on. His health improved, his mind was peaceful, and gradually, he became a person respected and loved by others. Keeping the precepts is not an easy journey, but it is the only way to help me keep my heart steady, stay away from bad things, and live a more meaningful life. What goes around comes around. That is the unchanging truth taught by the Buddha. When we sow good seeds, we will reap sweet fruits. When we sow evil, suffering will come. Living with responsibility and awareness of cause and effect will help us stay away from wrong actions and move towards a better life. A man spent his whole life doing good deeds, helping people in need. When he got old, he no longer had the health to work, but his children and grandchildren always loved and cared for him wholeheartedly. The sweet fruits of what he had sown throughout his life returned to him. I realized that no one can escape cause and effect. The important thing is to live in a way that sows good seeds. That is how we create a good destiny for ourselves. Compassion is not just a theory, but needs to be practiced through every word, action, and thought. When you help someone, when you do not harm a small creature, that is when you practice compassion. Small actions, if done with a sincere heart, will spread strongly. I used to feel my heart was narrowed by worries and jealousy. But then, through each small action, such as helping someone, forgiving others' mistakes, I feel my heart become more open and lighter. We don't need to do great things to show compassion. Small things, if they come from a kind heart, can bring about great change. If you want the world to change, start with yourself. Buddha pointed out that everyone has the ability to transform, from a person who causes suffering to a person who sows seeds of compassion. With just will and perseverance, we can overcome all challenges and karma. A young man once lost his way in sinful actions. After meeting a monk and listening to Buddha's teachings, he began to practice, keep precepts, and do good deeds. After many years, he became a person who helps others overcome difficulties and find the meaning of life. We cannot change everything, but we can change ourselves. When we live with compassion and do good deeds, we not only help ourselves, but also create a better world for everyone. Let's sow the seeds of compassion together, live according to the Buddha's teachings, so that each day is a meaningful day.